On episode 184 of He Said, She Said Movie Reviews, we take a look at the on-demand movie, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie taste take a quick, spoiler-free look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
So we just finished watching the on-demand movie, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. What do you give this movie, April?
I'm going to give it a solid 3.
Yeah, for me too. It's definitely a solid 3. Since it was an on-demand movie, we don't have any trailers, so let's dive right into this.
All right. The director was Jim Cummings. He was also the writer. He's known for Thunder Road, in TV, Minutes, and Still Life, and a bunch of short films.
Yeah, he's both the writer and the director. This is a movie about a terror grips a small mountain town as bodies are discovered after each full moon. Losing sleep, raising a teenage daughter, and caring for his ailing father, Officer Marshall struggles to remind himself that there's no such thing as werewolves.
The cast was Jim Cummings, Riki Lindhome, who she's been in tons of TV, The Big Bang Theory. She was also in Knives Out. Robert Forster, Chloe East, and Jimmy Tatro.
The interesting thing, Robert Forster has been in lots and lots of stuff,
Yes.
and this was his last movie he did before his death.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that was sad.
yeah, it
That
was
was
sad.
sad.
But I'm sure you've seen him in every movie ever made.
You and I talked
practically.
about that.
Yeah, this movie had a runtime of 83 minutes, and it was rated R for violence, bloody images, language throughout, and some drug use.
All right, let's dive right in. I think the acting was good. It was great in some cases because the characters were quirky and strange, which I enjoyed for once.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Before we dive in, let me say this real quickly. This is a movie that I had very low expectations for.
right.
Sometimes, most of the times when you watch a trailer for a movie, the trailer shows you all the best scenes in the movie. Right. Because they're trying to sell you to go see the movie, right? And I kind of thought, if this were the best scenes, this might be an interesting movie. And I had seen some negative reviews online about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I was, too.
I had low expectations, and I was
And
pleasantly...
it was a werewolf movie. Our listeners probably don't know, my husband is obsessed with werewolves. So when I thought, ugh. But guess what? I was pleasantly surprised as well. And by the way, I don't read any reviews before I see a movie or before I review it. I don't want anything to, impact me. But I think it's interesting because Tim will go out and peek around and then he'll go against it or with it. But I thought the characters were quirky. I thought it was well acted.
Yeah,
I really did.
It was well acted. I think Jim Cummings, and it's interesting because he was the director, the writer, and the main character in the movie. Okay, he was the protagonist in the movie. I thought at times he overacted a little bit.
Yeah.
But the supporting cast around him, heck, when you have somebody like, Robert Forster
he was
in
great.
there, and even Riki Lindhome, she's been in so much. So
I
there was
agree.
some really good acting in this.
I do agree the direction was all over the place, and it lacked a certain congruency. And
Yeah, there
that's-
were times I thought the movie jumped around. There were some plot holes and things.
But the ending was a surprise, and I always like that.
Yes, this movie had a very good twist at the end that I thoroughly enjoyed. And,
Yeah.
and it was something very different in the werewolf genre.
Yes. And the
So-
score definitely added to the drama. But sometimes you talked about this, that it was too much.
Yeah,
at
a little
times.
bit too much. And in back to the acting, though, too, the whole thing with Jim Cummings being angry and yelling all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, that was one of those things.
That got old.
The movie had a theme and tone of basically, do werewolves exist? I mean, I think that was where they were trying to go with this movie, right?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, absolutely. And then what did you think about cinematography?
Honestly, this movie was filmed in Utah, and it's set in Utah.
That's
I thought
beautiful.
it was beautiful. I mean, I don't know whereabouts they filmed this. I should have done a little bit more digging. But the beautiful snow-covered mountains,
Oh, I
the
loved
skiing.
it.
I mean,
And the night scenes were well lit.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was beautiful.
That's one of my pet peeves in movies when you have night scenes and you can't see anything going on the screen.
You're right.
They did a great job with the lighting in this.
Yeah.
So
the production design was okay. It was fine.
I thought the special effects, heck, they were pretty decent in here.
They really were.
The werewolf scenes were good.
Yeah.
You didn't really have you didn't have the classic transformation of the werewolf but in this movie, but that's okay. So
the editing was okay. What'd you think about the pace?
The pace for me moved along. Matter of fact, because of we talked about this a minute ago, with the plot holes and the kind of jumping around, the pace was really, it's like they ran through this movie fairly quickly. I mean, you had a werewolf movie in 83 minutes. So,
But the dialogue, this is where it needed work. And we talked about this, it was just lacking at times, and some of it was silly.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
you caught that right away. But again, it was worth it to me just because of, it was well shot. It was a great ending. It was interesting characters. I mean, for me, the moment I sat down, it kind of pulled me in, which I always love in a movie.
Yeah, since we watched this at home and it was an on-demand movie, I was afraid that you were going to get up and walk around and walk out of the room. But you sat there the whole time and watched this. Of course, it was only 83 minutes long.
Which is perfect. Hats off.
So once again, The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
And Tim, it's on demand, correct?
Yes, it's on demand.
Okay.
So you can get this, on any of your on-demand services.
All righty.
So we both give this movie 3 stars.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for all your support. Yes, we are focusing also on streaming movies, shows. We've heard from just so many of you. We appreciate our fans and all your support. And please keep going to the movies, too. Ones are coming out.
Yeah, this Friday coming up, we have The Honest Thief coming out.
That's right.
And what else?
And that Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters. That looks interesting.
It does.
It reminds me a little bit of that zombie movie where the guy was he was a zombie and becoming human. That kind of love story thing.
Yeah, we're gonna see both those in the next few days.
So yeah, please tune in and to the podcast and you'll hear our reviews on those 2 movies. So
and we thank you for your support. And if you're anywhere near, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, please go to the Spring Cinema and Tap House in Sandy Springs. They're inside. They have 8 auditoriums, the only heated reclining seats in the Southeast. Still wonderful new movies being dropped weekly. But also don't forget their drive-in. What a magical experience. Please just go on their website, find out what's showing, and bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, your friends, your family. Go to the drive-in, all right? It's worth it.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to the podcast, and we'll talk at you later.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the couch or at the movies.
Somewhere.
Bye-bye.
Bye.